Hello and welcome to a revision session. Today what we'll be looking at is how I can develop my introduction. This is a key part of your essay as it gives the examiner the first glance and glimpse at what your essay is going to be like, so you want it to be nice and strong with a clear argument. Okay, so let's have a look at the example. The student was answering the question, how accurate is it to say that Archbishop Laud and Laudian beliefs were the greatest threat to the Church of England between 1625 and 88? So was Archbishop Laud the main threat to the Church of England at this time? Let's have a look at the introduction. So as it stands, we've got Archbishop Laud and Laudian beliefs were a threat to the Church of England 1625 to 88. However, other factors like fear of Catholicism and the growth of nonconformity also caused a threat to the Church of England. Now, although it's true that this student has listed other factors, so they've got Catholicism in there, they've mentioned the growth of nonconformity, so they've mentioned other factors that they're going to discuss in the essay, they haven't really got a clear argument. The question is asking how accurate is it to say that Laud and Laudian beliefs were the greatest threat to the Church of England. And in this particular paragraph, they haven't indicated whether or not it is going to be the greatest threat or the other factors that they've mentioned are going to be a greater threat. So let's have a think about how this paragraph could be developed further. Here is an alternative. Okay. Archbishop Laud and Laudian beliefs were a threat to the Church of England 1625 to 88. His Armenian policies caused a growth of nonconformity and therefore a less unified Church of England. Additionally, Catholicism seemed a very real threat to the Church of England in this period. However, the most significant threat to the Church of England came from the establishment of the Clarendon Code. In this example, we can see a clear answer to the question what the greatest threat was to the Church of England. We can see that here. The most significant threat came from the establishment of the Clarendon Code. So they've very clearly mentioned what they think the greatest threat is going to be. So they've got an argument from the beginning of their essay. They've also included the other factors, just like we saw in the previous paragraph. So they've mentioned, obviously, the Clarendon Code itself. We've got Catholicism, and we've got the mention of Laud and Laudian beliefs. But the other thing that makes this introduction much stronger is that the student has also briefly mentioned, very briefly, how these things caused a threat. So they've mentioned, for example, that Archbishop Laud and beliefs caused the growth of nonconformity. They haven't gone into great detail because it's a kind of nice brief introduction, but again, it's just making it clear that that's what their argument is going to be. So we've gone from a paragraph where they've just listed the topics they're going to look at to an introduction where they've mentioned the topics that they're going to have a look at, and they've mentioned what they're going to argue about what the greatest threat to the church was. So this is a much stronger introduction to the essay, and this is what's going to get you a higher level answer. So don't forget, develop your introductions. Don't just list the factors you're going to look at, have an argument linked to the question, and briefly mention a little bit about each factor that you're going to talk about. Good luck with your revision, and make sure you develop your introductions.